So in Jerry Snyder on page 16 and 17, we're getting into a couple different things here. The first thing we're going to talk about is at the top of the page, primary bass or root. So think of it this way. When you say a D chord or a G chord or an A7 chord, you're only saying one of the ingredients when you say D chord. We're not going to get into the music theory of it, but a D chord has three main ingredients: a D, an F sharp, and an A. Now, how are you supposed to know what all those things mean? Well, you don't have to know right now, but what you do need to know is that one of the strings that you're going to play in that D chord, is a D, and it also happens to be the lowest sounding note of the chord, and that is called the root of the chord. So in this D chord, the root is that D string right there. And you can see that in the picture at the top because there's an R under that string. And the root of the chord is always the same letter as the name of the chord. Now, look at the G chord. The root of that chord is the E6 string, 3rd fret. Because that note right there that your finger is playing is a G. The root of an A7 chord is the A string. So the root of the chord can change depending on which chord it is. So let's take a look at this bass chord strum here. In this section of the song, just dropped my pick, hold on. You're going to be alternating between playing the root of the chord and the rest of the chord. So if you look at example 10, it starts off with a G chord. It says a G at the top, but you're going to go ahead and get that whole G chord ready because in measure 2, you're going to start playing it. So I'm going to play just the root to start. Watch. And then I switch to an A7, but I only play the root to start. And then the D chord, only play the root first. And then the chord, the root, and then the chord, the root, and then a pattern. So that's how you play example 10. It goes back and forth between playing the root and the whole chord. So you have to read the tab to know which frets to play, and you can play the whole chord. Ignore it if it's not the whole chord. But if you look at the actual notes, you notice that some of the notes are colored in and some of them are slashes. Whenever you see a slash like that, it means to play the whole chord. So those notes down there, that means to play only one string, but then the slash means to play the whole thing. Now, By Love is a little complicated. By Love takes the root and the strumming, but now it's going to mix in a strum pattern that goes like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So now the strumming up and down that you were working on, like in measure 9, is going to come back here. So let's take a look at By Love. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. The root, then the chord. The root, then the chord. The root, then the chord. Root, chord, and 3 and 4. Root, then, this is where it gets tricky. We've got root, chord, root, chord, root, strum, and strum, and strum. Still a D, A7, that one will definitely take some practice. It's a bit tricky. Now, page 17 introduces a new chord, the A chord, not the A7 chord, the A chord. And you're going to have to squish your 3 fingers together very tight because it's going to go on 2nd fret, 2nd fret, 2nd fret. It's very close together. And you got to squish them in and not go over the line. So it's a tough chord. It's 5 strings. And that's how you play an A chord. Now, there's other ways to do it. Like, I've seen some people do it like this, where they try to press their middle finger down on 2 strings. And if you look at the picture, there's another one that's like this, where sometimes the E string doesn't get played at all, but ideally, you're gonna wanna do this. Now, I have seen some people make a triangle, and instead of going index, middle, ring finger, I've seen some people do middle finger, index, ring finger, and they feel like they can fit it in a little bit tighter. So that's another way to try it too. But anyway, you can practice playing the A chord. Just check each string, just to make sure everything sounds right. Now, let's look at basic rock blues progression. Here's how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more measure, and here's the G. And the D. Now here's where it gets fast. We're gonna switch fast. A, and G, and D, and you hold it. 2, 3, silence. Example 12. Similar chord progression. It does use A and A7, so that can be a little tricky, and it changes every 2 chords. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally, example 13. Once again, very similar pattern, but now we're doing 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. I would recommend counting while you play. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And with the chords, it sounds like this. 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 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 3 and 4. And there you go, page 17.